So for basically 9 years straight, the UK housing market has told the exact same story,
Right. The North is booming and London is just dragging.
dragging way behind. I mean, the capital has just consistently lagged the national average. But we've got a new report today from Money Week that suggests, well, it actually says this trend is about to snap right back in the other direction.
Yeah, it is a really bold call. We are analyzing a forecast from Capital Economics, and they predict London is about to overtake the rest of the country. They've got property values tipped to jump by 6.5% next year.
Which would easily beat the projected national average of 5%.
Yeah.
But this isn't exactly a consensus view, is it? We have a real battle of the experts here.
We do. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack why one major economist thinks that the capital is poised for this massive comeback, and why others, like Knight Frank, think that prediction is just completely detached from reality.
Let's start with the bull case, the argument for the boom. This analysis from Ashley Webb at Capital Economics really zeroes in on one core concept, which is sensitivity.
Right, because London prices are the most stretched in the country relative to earnings.
Exactly.
And that makes the market hypersensitive to mortgage rates. When rates go up, London crashes the hardest. But the flip side of that is...
It rebounds the fastest when rates fall.
Exactly, it's the coiled spring effect. Webb is forecasting mortgage rates to drop from around 4.2% to roughly 3.7% by 2026. Because London mortgages are so massive, that slight percentage drop clears up a lot more cash for a London buyer than it does for someone buying a cheaper home in Leeds.
So it's basically a bigger relief valve.
Yeah.
But there's also a regulatory lever being pulled here that I think people miss.
Oh, the loan-to-income caps, yes.
Just to clarify for you listening, this is the rule that limits how many mortgages a bank can issue that are more than 4.5 times the borrower's income.
And since London has the highest price-to-earnings ratio, it's about 1.5 times the UK average, that cap was essentially a pair of handcuffs for London buyers.
Right.
Relaxing that rule unlocks the door for the capital disproportionately more than it does for the rest of the UK.
So you've got cheaper money and looser lending rules. But the third driver in this report was actually the one that shocked me the most. The supply numbers are terrifying.
They are very stark. By the first quarter of 2025, housing starts, meaning breaking ground on new homes in London, had fallen by 68%.
68%.
Yes. Meanwhile, the rest of the UK actually rebounded by 80%.
That is a massive divergence.
It is a total collapse of new builds in the capital. So when you have falling rates meeting absolute scarcity, basic economics suggests prices simply have to rise.
Okay, so cheap money meets no houses. That is a very convincing argument for a boom. But Knight Frank isn't buying it. Their head of research, Tom Bill, thinks London is only going to grow 3% and will keep lagging the country.
Right, because of what he calls the affordability ceiling. His argument is that London prices are already so incredibly high that a small rate cut just doesn't solve the fundamental problem.
People just can't stretch their budgets any further.
Exactly. They're maxed out.
And he also points out a structural shift with the economy. The big growth sectors like tech and bioscience are currently booming outside the capital. The jobs are moving, so the heat stays in the regions.
That is the macro view, absolutely. But to get the real picture, you have to look at the on-the-ground perspective from estate agent Jeremy Leaf.
Yes, this is the nuance I wanted to get to. It isn't just a blanket boom or bust.
Not at all. It depends entirely on property type. Needs-driven buyers are desperate for family houses. Those are incredibly scarce, so those prices go up.
But the flat market is totally different.
Right. The flat market is still plagued by massive oversupply.
So houses fly off the market and flats just stagnate.
And location is splitting the market, too. The suburbs are looking very hot right now because of that intense demand for family homes. But central London is actually struggling.
And a lot of that is tied to the changes in non-dom tax status, right?
Exactly. The tax perks for wealthy international residents are changing, and according to the report, that is scaring off the foreign capital that usually props up the city center.
So if you are trying to make sense of this market as a buyer or an investor, it is a massive tug of war. Falling rates and a lack of building are pushing prices up, while an affordability ceiling and tax changes are pushing them down.
And the winner of that tug of war will completely dictate whether we see a 6.5% boom or just another year of lagging behind.
It really forces you to question the very definition of London real estate. If the growth is isolated in the suburbs and family homes, while the center stagnates and flats sit empty, are we actually seeing the city recover, or is the geography of wealth permanently shifting outward?
That is the big question.
Definitely something for you to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.